So, yesterday, guys, we talked about author's purpose and we looked at Sotobata School and Green City, and we talked about how those two books are very informational because they're giving, you know, a lot of information and details about specific events, building a school out of soda bottles or rebuilding your town as green as possible, and how those informational texts, mostly informational, were also persuasive without being like, hey, you really need to do this. We're going to look at one that's not quite as subtle, that still gives you lots of information, but is really, truly at its core, a persuasive text. So we have read Can You Save the Tiger? We've looked at it a lot, but we've kind of touched on this before when we've talked about it. What is the author's purpose? Well, we kind of know. And what is their opinion since we've looked at this? And then when I give you the assessment, it is looking at those, what's the examples to support that opinion. So we've used this book before. We know it's persuasive text that we should be doing things to try to save animals from extinction. And what is their opinion is that humans have the ability to do this, right? We've covered this book, we've looked at it, we've read it multiple times. That the purpose is save animals, and the opinion is that people have the ability to save animals because part of the reason that some animals go extinct is human interaction. So we're going to take a look at some pages here and think about how what what examples in that text really support this. So this first page, I want to look at just this first paragraph up here. So we've got the world's quite a big place, but it's not that big when you consider how much there is to squeeze into it. First of all, that really is a good example of an interesting hook. But it also kind of does set that tone that, hey, we have a big place, but it's not that big. We have one planet, and there's a lot of things that are on it. And you can see right away that author is really trying to set up, hey, start thinking about these things. And you can see here on this page, if you don't read any of the other, that means we'll never see a live dodo, that the dodo bird has gone extinct because they're extinct. In fact, some have coped so badly with human interaction, they're not here anymore. So it shows us an example where we've not been successful. And then the next page, some more animals that we have not been successful in saving. So this author is saying, we're as human beings responsible for the animals on this planet as well. And here's some of the non-success stories. Here's where we have failed to help these animals stave off extinction because we can't see them anymore. And then it goes into the animals that are close. And then there are these other species that are still around, but only barely. And then it says, still, I'm sure you'll all agree that tigers are pretty special, right? And then this illustration kind of getting right into it. And then I love that it's not a question, but I'm sure you'll agree that tigers are pretty special. It's kind of a question, not a question, kind of saying, hey, tigers are special. Let's keep them around. Talks about some other times that human interaction has caused a bird to almost go extinct. You remember that these are because of chemicals that people were using, that these vultures were starting to get sick and die. And then it also talks about vultures are kind of important to take care of the animals that have passed away, so we don't have to dispose of them. That's part of their natural job. And that a simple change can help save this particular animal, whether it's beautiful or not. Okay. So when we're looking at it, we're going to have you read a text, find some examples in that text that support the opinion of the piece. What are we seeing specifically that supports that idea? That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, make sure you've completed the boom cards and the word work. For the word work, make sure you hit submit. You need to do all 4 words that are on that word work with definitions. Yes, you can use the iPad if you don't know what the definition of those words are, um, to look it up and get it turned into me. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks, guys.